So, over the last 2 vids, I've talked about how human trafficking in Egypt is done under the guise of something they call touristic marriage. I reviewed a documentary about it. If you haven't seen those, do it! Just do it! Today, as I promised at the end of the last vid, by the way, this happens to young men too, kind of. It's different in many ways, but it's still technically prostitution with pretty names slapped on it. I'll be talking about that in the next episode, boys. Obviously, it's not nearly as bad because it's a man's world down here. This is a man's world! I'll try to keep it nice and short because things are expected to get spicy in the near future for Egypt, and I want to be completely free to cover that as it happens. So I did find a rather convenient piece of media about this niche topic. It's an episode from a TV show, kinda documentary style. It was talking about prostitution in the Arab world and Lebanon in particular, but they do end up talking about our topic today in Egypt. So I'm gonna be covering just that segment because I can't be asked to cover two 50+ minute long videos back to back. I'm gonna give you a bit of a background first. I don't think today's topic is human trafficking. As I said, it's different from males. Picture this, an old lady, 50 or whatever years old, from Canada, America, somewhere in Europe, I don't fucking know, somewhere not Arabic. That lady is retired and lives off pension or savings, but she's lonely. In her country, it's gonna be hard for her to get laid or find a companion at that age. She has no edge. So, what does she do? She takes her retirement money and goes to a third world shithole, of course. Potentially, for her, that is a win on every level. You got sexual xenophilia here. Foreign girls are viewed as hotter than locals. Her money is gonna be worth a lot more here as well. And as a visitor, she won't have to deal with 90% of the bullshit that we do. Really, if she is okay with the overall condition of the country she's in, it's an absolute win. Egypt used to be a target for those types of people, by the way, up until the revolution came and made it politically unstable, scaring the foreigners away, and also the fact that the country just became shittier and more expensive overall, to the point that it isn't even worth staying in anymore. Which, by the way, is my life goal right now, and you can help it by donating on Buy Me a Coffee. Link is in the description. Okay, thanks. You had cities like Sharm el-Sheikh, Hurghada, and Luxor where a huge portion of the local population was foreigners, permanently or seasonally living in here. Now, on the opposite end, picture a guy, Egyptian, young and going through jobs at the start of his life. One time he's working in the tourism industry, say at a hotel or a resort, or just happens to be in one of those cities. He gets called over by one of the aforementioned ladies. She lures him in, buys him drinks, lunch and shit. She takes him over to her room. You know where this is going. After that, it kinda becomes a habit and he ends up being technically her boyfriend and living off of her, maybe even living with her for as long as she's staying. After that lady departs, our guy is like, huh, that was fun. Let's do it again. And so he sets off again, this time looking for a woman a bit more experienced, and before you know it, he's on the path. He became a prostitute, which I personally have nothing against, but society does. This story I just told you is entirely made up, but also it basically is a summary of the video I'll be reviewing in a bit. Another way this could be happening is simply doing it the legit way and marrying her. The motives probably are the same, which is to live off of her while also getting some of that sweet foreign fussy, and hung some MILF milkers. Anyway, as I was saying, it's a common thing. I personally knew people, both Egyptian men and foreign women, who were married and living here in Egypt. They can get married at a Muslim marriage official because, as previously said, they only deal with Muslims, and odds are the foreign woman is not. Which, by the way, is a double standard because if an Egyptian Christian married a Muslim, regardless of which is what gender, it's a problem. A big problem. People have been killed or just gone missing because of it in the past. But anyways, foreigners are exempt of that for some whatever reason. Money talks, I guess. There are other ways they can get married, customary or civil, which are done away from religious institutes. And there are also misyar, which I couldn't find a translation for, and mut'a, which is pleasure marriage, prostitution really. I briefly mentioned them in the last video, I'll put that on screen now.
That ain't sin, that's a loophole. Keep it up, you finna get so. That ain't sin, that's a loophole.
It's all just loopholes to make it halal and socially accepted for the man. The girl probably doesn't give a flying fuck as long as she gets what she wants. Religion aside, another thing that would be unacceptable about this if the girl wasn't foreign is the fact that the woman provides. As you all know, this is a den for conservative degeneracy that we live in, and for a guy to openly say that his wife provides for him, for the household, on her own, or even if both of them work but she just happens to make more, he instantly becomes khawal, which is like or emasculate. But Mumia, isn't marriage supposed to be about partnership and growing together?
Oh, my sweet summer child.
It's just about sex. If it was halal to fuck without marriage, you would have everybody humping each other and almost nobody would ever bother getting married anymore. Funnily enough, a lot of them even admit that. They use that as a trump card when debating atheists, apostates, or otherwise irreligious people, actually. They say, if you didn't have religion, you would sleep with your mother or sister, implying that they want to do that and the only thing stopping them is their faith and fear of divine punishment. And they would genuinely think that this is okay and they are normal people. Brother in Christ, Habibi Fillah, insert whatever the Jews say. If the only thing keeping you tame is your belief, not some inner voice or conscience or just human nature, then you're a piece of shit, my guy, and you need help. Yesterday. Anyways, sorry, went on a little rant there. As I was saying, living off a female is unacceptable here for a man, unless that woman is foreign. In that case, it's kind of a gray area. Some people still think you're a little pussy bitch boy, others will be like, whatever. And I guess it was divisive enough for it to exist and get normalized here with time. Now, for the video, the show is called Khabaya, which means like secrets or hidden things. Now, I know, not the most solid of sources, but this topic is pretty hard to get material for as nobody wants to even acknowledge it, and it isn't outrageous enough to get a media company from outside to do research on it, unlike the human trafficking gig from last time. None that I know of, anyway. I do have a few criticisms about the show. They have religious and conservative undertones to it. Some are subtle, some are less than so. Biased commentary aside though, I do think their interviews and material is legit. Also, the show is in potato quality. You're just gonna have to deal with it. Sorry. And I did find it on YouTube if you're interested in seeing the whole thing. I'll drop the link in the description. Now let's get into it.
رحلة البحث عن خبايا السياحة الجنسية قادتنا إلى مصر بعد اطلاعنا على تقارير تشير إلى انتشار هالتجارة وتحديدا في المناطق السياحية. علاقات بين شبان يبحثون عن المال ونساء يبحثن عن المتعة. هشام واحد من هالشباب اللي يبيع خدماته الجنسية إلى فتيات غربيات من 6 سنوات. كيف كانت أول مرة معك التجربة هذه؟ كيف يعني حصلت؟
أول مرة كان واحد صاحبي قال لي في ست عندها 50 سنة وهي عايزة تتجوز واحد مصري وهي تشوفك لو انت عجبتها هتتجوزك لو ما عجبتهاش خلاص.
As I said in the story I made up, it happens by chance. There may be of course organized webs for this, in fact it's likely that there is, but since this is kind of similar to dating it can also happen by chance. Also the Arabic subtitles the show has are useless. The white font blends in with the white background a lot and it doesn't have a back card like the ones I put in, which is irrefutable evidence that I'm a professional show host, editor and producer. Don't even ask me.
جنسيتها ايش؟
كانت روسية.
كم كان عمرك؟
كان عندي 22 سنة. رحت شافتني عجبتها عملنا علاقة قعدت 40 يوم.
زواج يعني كان؟
لا ده ما كانش زواج، دي كانت علاقة من غير أي أوراق. كنا قاعدين معظم الوقت كان في شرم، كان كلها عبارة عن قايمة على السكس لأن هي كمان كانت كبيرة. يعني أنا كنت بعمل ده عشان أنا عايز فلوس وهي عايزة مني السكس.
كم كان سعرك؟
في الوقت ده أنا كنت لسه مش فاهم حاجة ومش عارف إيه المفروض أخد كام وما أخدش كام، فيعني ساعتها خدت 3000 جنيه في الأول. ما كنتش أعرف إن أنا ممكن أطلب أكتر من كده وآخد أكتر من كده.
Damn, I guess at the time that was a fair number, considering the job wasn't all that hard, maybe even fun for him. But imagine getting 3K after 40 days of work nowadays. Any kind of work, not even this. That's not livable, not by any kind of stretch.
كانت هذه تجربة هشام الأولى، وتوالت التجارب خلال ال6 السنوات التالية، وأصبح أكثر خبرة واحترافية في بيع المتعة، وصديقته تانيا هي آخر زبائنه. طب هشام، أنت تكلمت إنه يعني يبدو إنه أنت دخلت علاقة جديدة مع واحدة من البنات الأجنبية.
آخر علاقة كانت من 20 يوم تقريبا.
20 يوم تعتبر فترة زمنية كويسة يعني؟
دي تعتبر قليلة لأن في بيبقى أكتر من كده.
نمط هالعلاقة كيف؟
أنا كنت ماشي في شرم على البيتش، هي ندهت لي، هي روسية بتتكلم عربي، بتقول لي إن أنت شبه حد روسي هي كانت بتحبه في روسيا. هي من هنا عملت كونتاكت، يعني هي عاملة دخلة. قالت لي أنت شبهه كده وأنا حابة أتكلم معاك. أنا كنت بحبه جدا بس إحنا سيبنا بعض في روسيا، كملنا مع بعض وجينا القاهرة، بقينا نأجر شقة نقعد فيها، ننزل نتفسح، بوريها الهرم، بوريها المعالم بتاعتنا. أنا كنت حابب ده، يعني أنا في العلاقة دي كنت حابب وما خدتش منها.
And from that point on, you could have actually married her and settled down with her here or went abroad together. You know, it makes sense. Doing that kind of thing, you run the risk of falling for a client. Hell, if prison doctors fall for inmates, why not this?
ما كان في مقابل.
ما خدتش منها مقابل
المادي، بس هو كان هي بتصرف بس.
تصرف عليك
يعني انا مش بحب اقولها بتصرف عليا، يعني خلينا
تصرف على نفسها يعني.
خلينا نقول هي بتصرف على نفسها، هي بتعزمني على الخروجه، يعني هي كانت متكفله بكل ده، وانا كنت حابب لان هي قريبه مني في السن، كانت حلوه.
See what I meant? The mentality here just rejects it, and you can see on the host's face the smug smile. He knew that wording would get a reaction for him. Yes, I know it has like 4 pixels, but I can still see it and hear it in his voice. All right?
طب انت تيجي عشان تشوفي شيء جديد في مصر، شرم الشيخ، بحر، اهرامات، ولا تيجي عشان كمان تتعرفي على
عشان اصلا عشان بحر اكيد سويمين كده بس ريلاكسين شويه.
Okay, well, this interview is painful for me to watch. Her Arabic's pretty rough and it goes on for so long, so I'm just gonna cut out all the ums and uhs for you. You better hit the like button.
تعرفتي على شباب مصريين هنا طبعا.
طبعا.
اخر واحد كان هشام، ولا اكثر من واحد، ولا هو هشام بس؟
لا يعني قبل هشام اكيد عشان شباب هنا ليب كتير يا موزة حلوة اكيد like they trying to catch me كده.
Okay, so this one is kind of a matter of perspective. Some girls will view these compliments as harassment, and some, like Tanya here, find it attractive and endearing. Men here are generally pretty flirty, and Egyptians are funny. Also, a great deal of them are narcs. The way society raises boys breeds that into them, which makes them seem attractive at first. All of that combined makes it easy for foreign girls to fall for them, but unlike with a local woman, the guy here needs her or has no leverage over her, even after marriage, so they tend to either alienate themselves from the girl or just stay sweet if the guy is decent enough to do it.
طب ليش اخترتي هشام؟ ليش تعرفتي على هشام؟
يعني سبيس زي البيبي كنت في روسيا بس قلبي تك 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 تك.
ايش اللي يخلي بنات غربيات يدفعون المال من اجل العلاقه الجنسيه مع شباب عرب؟ وايش هي الخطط التكتيكيه عند هشام والعاملين في مهنته من اجل اقناع هالبنات بالدفع؟ كلمت انه اول مره كنت ممكن تاخذ 3000 جنيه مصري، يعني بعد ما فهمت السوق كيف صنفت اسعارك؟
اعلى حاجه وصلت ل $5000، والموضوع على فكره فيه فصال يعني.
والزمن مثلا ممكن تشترط عليها مثلا والله اذا كانت بتدفعي كذا ساعه مش اكثر.
هو الزمن بيبقى مش بالساعه، هو بيبقى بالفتره اللي هي قاعده.
بفتره يعني الاقامه يعني.
يعني هي قاعده شهر مثلا، بنتكلم على الشهر كله.
This helps isolate it further from being a prostitute. See, strippers and hookers at a brothel or club or whatever are usually gonna be paid on an hourly basis. But this being a monthly pay kinda makes it feel more like a job, not sex work. At this point, it's closer to short-term marriage for him. Also, $5K is a nice half.
أنا المفروض في الشهر ده أبقى متاح ليها في الوقت اللي هي تحتاجه، لازم تكلمني، أبقى موجود، أبقى متفرغ ليها يعني. للعلاقة الجنسية مش لأي خدمة يعني تاخدها مثلا سياحة. ده ممكن يحصل مع واحدة قريبة في السن مني شوية. طب عادة إيش الأكثر شيء ممكن إغراءات يقدموها لكم أنتوا غير الفلوس؟ يعني في شيء غير طبعا في، يعني ممكن تقول لي لو أنت هنا مش لاقي فرصة عمل ممكن أبعت لك تجيلي اشوف لك شغل حلو هناك وتكسب كويس وحتى تعيش معايا هناك. بس يعني 3/4 الكلام ده بيبقى مجرد كلام.
You know, as a guy would lie to lure a girl in, the girl can also do the same. You know, funny enough, even I have gotten a couple of offers of that kind through my channel, and I have to be honest, it is kind of tempting. The idea of an easy way out is naturally so appealing to humans, so I can sympathize with people who fall for it, especially if they are desperate.
مثل كل مهنة هناك منافسة قوية بين اللي يشتغلون بهالتجارة، فهي تحتاج إلى مواصفات خاصة وتحتاج إلى كثير من الذكاء لتقنع الزبونة إنه عندك اللي تحتاجه. عادة بتكون في منافسة بينكم أنتم اللي بتشتغلوا في هذا الشغل. كيف طبيعة المنافسة؟
هو أنا واجهت مشكلة في حاجة، إن هم بيحبوا اللي مصري قوي، الشكل المصري، يعني الشاب الأسمر، الشعر الكيرلي شوية، ده مطلوب أكتر.
Everyone seeks what is rare, I guess, which is why here you find people drooling over white skin, straight, smooth hair, color dyes, and hair, because it's just not common here. From a Russian's perspective, though, these things are normal there, so they will prefer what they don't have. After all, attractiveness is objective, and beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
طب أنت ليش بيطلبوك؟ ملامحك قريبة من ملامحهم، أبيض رفيع.
ما هو دوت بقى بيقوم على الشخصية بقى، يعني هي لما بتعرفني في الأول بتتعرف عليا هم بيحبوا اللي صريح جدا.
طب في قائمة أصحابك أنت رقم كم من المطلوبين؟
أصنف نفسي يعني الرقم 3.
يعني في 2 متفوقين عليك.
ال2 متفوقين دول الشكل الفرعوني قوي، ده يكسب في الموضوع ده، لكن أنا كويس إن أنا بشكلي كده وموجود معاهم. ده أنا بلعب على حتة الصراحة، يعني في ناس حابة الخشن المصري قوي، تعبان في حياته، الشقة باين عليه، هم بيحبوا ده.
Well, that gives me hope. I'm not Egyptian looking either, but since personality sells, then I might just have a chance.
ثانية، كثير من الشباب العرب يقولوا انه البنات برا لما بيجوا بيحبوا الشباب عربي.
صح.
بتحبوا انتوا اللون الاسمر لون العرب؟
عشان عينهم يعني حلوة.
ايش الفرق بين هشام واي شاب مثلا في روسيا؟
مثلا هنا راهل مثلا كلمات حلوين، روسيا they just doing بس مش
ما في كلام كثير، ما في كلام كويس.
كده. وكمان روسيا راجل نيكولت شوية.
ايه طيب انت ممكن تتزوجي واحد عربي؟
واحد عربي وواحد روسي.
تزوج اثنين؟ لا زواج مرد.
ممكن مرد هنا ومرد في روسيا.
In my opinion, this coldness stems from availability. I imagine it's not as hard to get laid or find a partner in a Western society. So no need to be over the top and pretend to be nicer than you actually are to secure a catch. Of course it happens everywhere, but from what I see it's way more prominent and to a higher degree here. And also just the practicality of Western societies might contribute to that as well. Many Egyptians who travel abroad, especially Europe, struggle with the coldness of people, how everything is professional and the punctuality and conciseness of it all. Not everyone who grew up here can adapt to that. Things are more laid back and chaotic here. Both have their ups and downs, I guess, depending on what you want in life.
ثانية، انت عندك صديقات في روسيا بيجوا على بلد عربي صح؟
مش كتير، مش قوي بس يعني في.
ايش الكلام اللي ممكن يتكلموه عن العالم العربي او عن الشباب العرب؟
يعني في بنات مثلا هم بحب يمثلين قوي، وفي بنات تاني مش بحب قوي.
طيب
عشان تسلاين بلاين كده، عايزة فلوس وبس، وهارد بريكر مثلا I love you بس ما فيش feeling و just playing with girls و girls don't like it أكيد. بس ده depend. مثلا بنت عايزة serious relationship و marriage بس find شباب هي trust وهو
يترك خلاص.
فهو ممكن عند 20 بنات around كده.
And Egyptians, especially young ones, do tend to be fuckboys. Not me though, I'm not.
خلال لقائي معه كنت أشوفه وأفكر، هل يشعر كما تشعر بائعة الهوى؟ هل المجتمع ينظر لبنات الهوى كما ينظر لأولاد الهوى؟ أو أن المجتمعات الشرقية الذكورية تعتبر العاملين بهالمهنة أقل خطيئة من العاملات فيها؟
Well, I guess both are given their fair share of flack. Sex work in general is not accepted here, so it's either done in secret, like this, or openly but with cute names plastered on it, like we saw before. And there's also the whole gay sex network thing, but that is like Lord Voldemort's name in Hogwarts.
And his name was...
Maybe she wrote it down.
No, I can't spell it. All right.
Gay sex. Gay sex.
You don't say, you don't talk about it, because we're by society and all that. If there is one thing worse and more tainted than prostitution, it's being gay. So imagine both combined.
بالنسبة للعيلة ما يعرفوش، لأن أنا عندي والدتي ووالدي متدينين شوية زيادة عن اللزوم، فهم ما يقبلوش بتصرفات زي دي مني. يعني ممكن يتصدموا لو عرفوا ده.
عندك إخوان ذكور أو بنات؟
لا، أنا وحيد، عندي أختين بنات لكن ذكور لا.
ما فيش حد منهم بيعرف
خالص، ما ينفعش. هو بيبقى سر بيني وبين صحابي اللي في شرم بس، اللي هم بيعملوا زي كمان، اللي هم برضو في نفس الموضوع معايا.
Another secret network. The mentality here is you're a thief only if you get caught. And while this particular thing is not objectively bad, it is a huge sin in their eyes, and yet they do it, even in organized ways. As long as nobody knows, it's fine. And to be clear, I'm not trying to shit on this guy in particular. I'm talking about society as a whole, the bulk of the people and their mentality.
وأنت ناوي تستمر إلى كم سنة قادمة؟
لا، أنا مش ناوي أستمر.
ليه؟ في شيء تعتقد إنه أنت بينك وبين نفسك إن اللي بتعمله عيب؟
أكيد بقعد مع نفسي وبلوم نفسي، لان احنا مش متربيين على كده. يعني داخله فيها ظروف اقتصاديه كتير خلتني اتجه لكده، لكن لو انا نفسي من جوايا ما احبش ابقى كده طبعا. لكن تخيل شاب عنده 23 سنه او 24 سنه عايز يتجوز وعايز يعمل بيت وعايز حاجات كتير قوي. بتهيأليش ان انا ممكن اعمل ده لو اشتغلت في مصنع مثلا او اشتغلت مندوب مبيعات.
And sadly he is right, more so now than he was back then whenever he said those words. It is genuinely unbelievable how terrible the economy is here now. And yes, I know there are worse places, but the thing is, at the end of the day, all that matters is how well you can cope and what you're able to do about it. When a country has been shitty all its life, or for a long time, the people will be used to it and live with it. Stability matters. It's not just the objective state of Egypt that makes it bad, it's the sudden and continuous drop that is the problem. Before your family even has time to re-budget and cut out things that can be cut out, you find yourself having to cut out even more because the situation just got worse than your last paycheck. And your paycheck, which was never all that great to begin with, has not changed a cent. And on top of that, the stupid measures the current system has running, monopoly of everything and the restriction on online work and money coming from abroad in general, the ridiculous taxation on things, and inflation, and all these factors combined. It's doomed to failure, really, and an honest man or woman are left with very little choices to stay afloat, and none of those options are human or fair, sadly.
والسود انا عايز اقول لك حاجه، بس انا مش عايز ابقى حاله شاذه، يعني انا مش عايز دلوقتي الناس تشوفنا كده عشان بيعمل حاجه غريبه. في ناس كتير كده وبطرق اوحش من كده بكتير، بيعرض نفسه بطريقه رخيصه جدا. انا ما بعملش ده، انا بنعمل تبادل منفعه، خلينا نقول اللي هي تبادل منفعه. هي بتبقى عايزه حاجه وانا ببقى عايز حاجه، ولولا ان انا محطوط في ظروف اقتصاديه وحشه ما كنتش انا فكرت ان انا اعمل كده.
You know what? That is fair. And going off this vibe, I do feel like he's a good person, and seeing how he said he didn't charge Tanya when he was in love with her. Besides, I support this message actually. Being progressive and breaking stigma is always a good thing.
غالبا ما يصل رواد هالمهنة إلى طريق مسدود، فهناك عمر افتراضي لقدراتهم على جذب الزبونة وإقناعها بدفع المال مقابل المتعة، أو يتعرضون لمداهمات أمنية. في بعض الأحيان تقودهم طالبات هالخدمة في غفلة منهم إلى الزواج. هذا اللي حصل مع أحمد اللي حاول إنه يفتح له سوق لبيع المتعة في دبي، إلا أن لقائه بالشابة الروسية ألونا اللي جات إلى بلداننا للسياحة وربما أكثر من ذلك غير حياته ومهنته على الأقل إلى الآن. التصور اللي عند العرب أنه البنات الروسيات لما بيجوا مجموعات هم بيدوروا على المال، يعني ما يدوروا عن حب أو علاقات مستمرة. صح الكلام أو لا؟
Yeah, most of Russians they know this. Who has traveled so many times and who have this situation in their life. And they say for other Russian girls about this situation and it can be dangerous. But I can say also that it cannot stop some Russian to go and enjoy with an Arabic boyfriend. Anyway, مش ممكن to stop them. They like Arabic men.
اللي سمعناه انه في كثير من البنات الاجانب يعني ممكن تتعرف على شاب بيعجبها، ممكن هي اللي تصرف عليه او في احسن الاحوال تكون شريكه معاه، يعني النص بالنص.
I know some stories about some Russian girls. They're my friends. I can say it sometimes can be relation like 1 month, and sometimes when she go out and stay in her country, she call him every day, and this relation will be, for example, 6 months, 8 months, and she is going to come back for him like tourist again, and she spend her money and she buy it souvenir for him from the Russia and bring too much things because it's like habibi for her and she's going to give him everything. But for me, I think it's not more than 1 year. I not saw it more than 1 year. It will be something like this.
I feel like this is the old equivalent for setting your region on Tinder to international, which by the way is blocked in Egypt along with most of its knockoffs, if you were wondering, because we are a biased society.
من الواضح أن الدول العربية أسواق واسعة تقدر السائحة تذوق وتختار اللي يناسبها. اكتشفنا في بحثنا أنه بعض السائحات يبحثون عن خشونة العرب وميلهم للسيطرة، والبعض الآخر يلقون أن الرجل العربي أكثر رومانسية ودفء من الرجل الغربي. إيش اللي عجبك أنت في الشباب العرب؟
I like Arabic because they treat women like women.
Are you sure about that?
They speak too much nice words and they're like friends, not only like husband, boyfriend, they're also friends in their life. They bring too much romantic.
طيب الشباب في روسيا مش رومانسيين معكم؟
In Russia we have the problem because we don't have like enough men there. We have more girls. Russian also romantic, but not all. Some. Most of them they take care about themselves, not about the ladies.
Oh wait, for real? I didn't know that when I was talking about availability earlier. Huh, my third eye is doing work. I imagine the current war is also gonna make that even worse. I'm worried for these people, man. And before you lose your shit, I'm talking about the normal people, okay? People like me stuck in the political shit of their leaders that they had no say in whatsoever.
الغوص في الحديث مع أحمد كشف الكثير من الأبواب الخلفية لتحول بعض الشباب العرب إلى بائعين للمتعة حتى وهم في عمر 14.
Oh boy, would you look at that. Again?
أحمد أنت صاحب تجربة شخصية يمكن طويلة في واحتكاكك بالسواح من جنسيات مختلفة من خلال شرم الشيخ أو حتى في دبي، دخولك هالمجال يعني كان عمرك صغير، عمرك 15 سنة.
بدأت أنزل أيوة في دراستي وأنا عندي 14 داخل على 15 سنة. بدأت أختلط وأنزل شرم ودهب مرسى علم، واشتغلت في مطاعم وفنادق. بعد كده سافرت على دبي وتعاملت مع أجانب كتير في جنسيات مختلفة.
متى أنت كونت علاقات مع بنات أو سيدات يمكن أكبر منك بسنوات كثيرة؟ وإيش اللي شدك بهالعالم؟
بدأ معي وأنا صغير أول ما دخلت المناطق السياحية في دهب. واحدة إيطالية، أنا 14 هي 42
أنت
سنة.
كنت 14 سنة؟
14 ونص، هي 42. وكانت علاقة عابرة، بس كانت أول حاجة في حياتي يعني.
كيف طريقة الانجذاب بين الطرفين يعني بينك وبينها؟
هو بدأ طبعا زي ما تقول إعجاب من بعيد، نظرات.
أنت أعجبت فيها ولا هي أعجبت فيها؟
أنا أعجبت بس عادي، انترستنج بالنسبة لي. كنت لسه نازل، بالنسبة لي جو جديد، عالم جديد. أنا بحب اللغات عامة، ومن اللغات اللي أنا بحبها اللغة الإيطالية، فأعجبت فيها وهي شخصيتها مرحة.
Marcello, what is it? What are you doing? Mamma mia, Marcello! That's illegal.
Sorry, I just had to because she's Italian. On a serious note though, this is not okay at all. First guy was alright because he was an adult. Past a certain threshold, age gaps don't mean as much. Like 50 dating a 30 is not as weird as a 25 dating an 18. You know what I mean? And obviously a 42 diddling, not even dating, 14 is far from okay. It's just a little boy. An impressionable boy wowed by the whole new world he just discovered. And in comes this bitch and takes advantage of him to satisfy some sick desire. Disgusting. And boys will be boys, you know? He will not even realize the abuse and potential damage he's faced until it's already too late. But at the time, he would probably even be happy and think it's badass that he went and did things with someone way older than him.
يعني أنت دخلت على أساس إنه في هدف عندك جنس أو لا؟
كبداية أنا بالنسبة لي في السن ده طبعا
أنت كنت طفل يعني مش
بالظبط. في السن ده أنا حاجة صغيرة خالص، ما كانش تفكيري الأساسي اللي هو الجنس.
بس هي لا،
في ناس طبعا سايكو بيحبوا الناس الصغيرة أو الشباب، زي ما في رجالة كبار بيحبوا البنات التينيجر وكده. ما كنتش طبعا أعرف أنا الكلام ده وأنا صغير لسه، فحصل بقى الموضوع.
كانت بداية يعني أو كانت حالة وبعدين توقفت عندها
بالنسبة لي أنا عجبني الموضوع انترستنج، وساعتها طبعا
حسيت إنك أنت راجل يعني بعده.
بالظبط كده. وطبعا يعني في زي إغراءات مثلا، فلوس وهدايا واهتمام، ولقيت مش هلاقي الاهتمام ده من جنسية مصرية، ولقيت ثقافة، لقيت في ريسبكت، في تعلم. فبدأت أتعلم واحدة واحدة وأثقف نفسي عشان أجتذبهم.
See, that is a good side to this. Generally, it's good to interact with people from other cultures. There's a lot to learn from them and also to teach them. It's an overall net positive for both. And even more so here, Egyptian society is a stagnant and backwards one. And growing up, I thankfully was given the opportunity to interact with and learn from foreigners. In fact, I learned English that way, not at school. That saved me from the echo chamber of retardation that is Egypt. I know I sound snobby right now, but it's just how I feel, I guess. So make of it what you will. I don't talk down to or treat people bad in real life. I'm just not that guy. I will only treat you bad if you start it.
وكما هو الحال دائما، السائحات كبيرات السن أكثر طلبا لهالخدمات وكمان الأكثر كرما.
بتبقى اللي هي فوق ال40 مثلا، تبقى اكسبيرينس وتبقى عايزة
إيه؟
عايزة كل حاجة. عايزة دعم معنوي، عايزة دعم نفسي، عايزة جنسي، عايزة كل شيء.
ممكن تدفع مقابل هذا كله؟
تدفع مقابل الغسيل مخ. بس جيت على فترة بعد كام سنة زهقت، لقيت اللي أنا عايز أكون أسرة، ألاقي واحدة إنسانة تفهمني وإنسانة كويسة.
لما التقى أحمد بألونا في مطار دبي للمرة الأولى تغيرت حياته. بطريقته الاحترافية رمى سنارته باعتبارها زبونة محتملة، ولكنه ما كان متوقع أنه يقع في غرامها مثل ما يقول ويتزوجها ويوقف عن حياة العبث اللي دامت سنوات كثيرة. بألونا أنت تزوجتي أحمد، اللي خلاك تكوني مطمنة إنه بيحبك فعلا يعني، وإنه العلاقة ممكن تكون علاقة زواج وممكن تكون علاقة استقرار طويلة؟
When I meet Ahmed, he was for me like just friends. I come Dubai tourist, and maybe I was like other Russian girls. He was every day with me. He was to care about me, but he is never not ask me about money. He's always paying for if we go restaurant or cafe, or he tried to be my friend. I was paying maybe like 2 or 3 times only, but I understand he's a good person, and in this time I don't have a boyfriend in Russia, and I ask myself why not. He's a good guy and I like him, and I like the Dubai, and I'm going to come back again and I can meet him.
ما زال هذا العالم السري يحمل المزيد من الخبايا، والسائحات الغربيات ما هم الوحيدات اللي يطلبون هالخدمات ويدفعون عشانها مبالغ مختلفة لأولاد الهوى. فقائمة الزبائن تحتوي أسماء سيدات عربيات.
Okay, that's a wrap up. The rest of the episode, they go back to Lebanon where they started, which is irrelevant to our topic today. I've got something very interesting for you guys. You wouldn't want to miss it, I guarantee you. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. Also, a reminder that you can support me financially on Buy Me a Coffee and get a shout out while you're at it. There's also a Discord server if you want to come and hang out with me. All that being said, I love you all so much, and until next time, take care.